Hello, winners.
Yeah, this is my honorary little sister, Diana. Diana, I pronounced that right?
Yeah,
Right, yeah, I always like to get that right. Um, so before we chat, actually, I was thinking, I'm gonna ring a bell for us. Just a bell. Isn't that pretty?
yeah, I love the sound.
I wanted to introduce you to the audience because you're such an awesome person, and I've seen you in so many different lights, Diana. You know, when Gianna and I met, and maybe you can give a little more background for people as well, but when you and I met, you were coming up here on this daring mission to open up a US office for your company down,
Yeah,
in Colombia. And I mean, here you were, like a woman on your own in this strange land, and you're just like, I'm going to do this. And you had all these creative ideas about people to get in touch with and connections to make. And I mean, it was a really daunting task. And then you became like the CEO of the company North America, right? I mean, you
yeah,
were the Presidente. What was the title that you got?
yeah. Actually, I think you suggested that the
Well,
CEO
that's
because
true. I did, but it doesn't matter. I mean, this is how it goes. This is what I want people to understand is that it's
yeah,
an idea. Like I had this idea. So what happened, Winners, is that when Diana came up here and I knew her boss, and Diana and I were talking, and I said, look, if you're going to call on people, you need a title. Like, you need authority, you need a title, because you want to meet them on their own level. So we called Diego, and we just said, this is it. She needs to be president. And he's such a great guy. He said, it shall be so. And then
yeah, yeah. I mean,
had that
like
role,
that.
right? Which
Yeah,
was the right thing, And so, sometimes that's just how it happens. It's, I've done a windcast. It's not published yet, but it will be probably by this time this is out. But I've done a windcast on like how I ran for Congress, and it was an idea, and I just did it. And so I think having that title, you were already the CEO, you're already the Presidente coming up here, and then you just needed the title and the authority to go with it, you know?
yeah. I think that was a really great idea, and it was also very empowering. And yeah, it was a really daunting, task that I was taking on, and I really appreciate all the doors that you opened. And I mean, things didn't work out as we thought, but I think that the whole experience is just giving me a new perspective on life and on things that I can do on my own. And I love what you said, that if you want to do something, just do it. Sometimes we just overthink, and I say it because I do it. Like, I still do it most of the
Everybody.
time.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, Jana, because I think that's true with a lot of winners, a lot of people listening, is that you have this idea and you think you want to do it, and then you already cut yourself out and you're like, well, I can't do that because it wouldn't work out, or I can't do that because, and why not turn it around and say, I can do this, and I am going to jump in, and I am going to try it. And I think it's about following your heart and following your instinct and what it is that you want to do. So you knew you wanted to come up here, you knew you wanted to open up an office, and even though that office no longer exists, that's like irrelevant. What was relevant was that you came up here and you did it. And I mean, I knew at the time what a daunting task that was, and I knew just how difficult it would be. And so that was one of the reasons that I saw your spirit, and I thought, I want to help this woman. I want to open up some doors and see where that's going to go. And almost an impossible task. In some ways, I thought it was impossible, but I thought, well, if anyone's going to do it, Diana's going to do it. And you
Yeah,
did.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could have worked in the way that we were thinking, but I think COVID right now changed the perspective on,
Yes.
like, in the way that we do business, because right now I'm not involved in the commercial part, but I'm thinking that that's going to be transformed, because a lot of relationships were personal.
Yes.
People want to meet you, and now.
I just want to point out, like, you are so beautiful and so creative and so artistic. And I'm looking at the frame of the picture of you in the center and these beautiful orchids on the side. I mean, they're so spectacular.
Yeah, me for around 2 years, and they just keep flourishing. I don't know. I think
Your
they
orchid
like it.
friends, your orchid friends.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And I also had in my office, I have everywhere. Everywhere I go, I try to put an orchid plant. or
Grow,
anything.
make it grow. Well, it's funny because a lot of the windcasts, I find myself out in nature, reminding people to be in nature because there's an energy in that. I mean, you look at the color, there's a vibrancy that comes off of that. And when you put that in your environment, you change your environment. Your environment is reflective of you, and
Yeah.
you are reflective of your environment.
Yeah, I think we feed on the things that we are surrounded with in now with the quarantine. I think we are starting to feel that more, to question ourselves, how is my house reflecting who I am? And if, I don't know, I mean, sometimes you don't think about that, especially if you are traveling a lot.
Yeah, if
So
you're traveling, if you're not in your environment, then you may not think about it as much. I don't know how the God or the universe, or where the goodness is going to come from or how it's going to come. And
yeah.
whenever it comes and however it comes, we should be grateful for it. So the fact is, you're living in a beautiful home right now, and that's
Yeah, I
what
know, and I'm
matters.
so enjoying it because when I was traveling so much, I didn't really like have anything here, any furniture. I just had my bed, and I didn't know my neighborhood. And right now, every time I have to go and buy some things, I go with my protective gear and all that. And here is very strict in Colombia right now, the quarantine, because I don't know, people, something happened, and it's that they decided to do these days without I think it's the VAT tax.
Yes.
Okay, they decided to do days that they didn't charge any taxes for buying stuff.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but those days people got crazy. It was like Black Friday in the United States.
Yeah. So everybody was buying stuff.
And everybody was just in
Wow.
crowded spaces and crazy and stuff. Yeah, so right now we are in a very strict quarantine because
Yeah.
of that.
Get it. Okay, that makes sense. So two things I wanted to ask you: how things are in Colombia, and so specifically, which city are you in right now?
I'm in the capital in Bogotá.
Bogotá. Bogotá.
In
Okay.
Bogotá, it's up in the mountains, and I mean, we are in this really strict quarantine, but I'm okay. I don't have anything.
How you are?
I mean, this is going to sound like very weird because in quarantine I've been like in this self-discovery journey about some of my personal characteristics. And I don't know if I told you before, but I have this thing that is called I don't know how you say it in English. It's synesthesia. Synesthesia. I don't know.
Sinuses or something? Does that have to do with your nose?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll write it down, but it's a condition that you mix your senses. So
Oh.
for me as a child, I always have had like colors, particular colors for each day of the week, each number, each month. Everything. And for me, it's very visual. Like I see things as colors and sometimes sounds mixed with feelings, but like I know a lot of the people feel that with art, but I have it like it's very natural in me.
I love
So,
it. I think that's amazing. That's like an incredible gift.
yeah, and something I've found out that I've been like exploring these last days is that I actually think I can be kind of in the autism spectrum
Mm-hmm.
in some ways. And it's weird because I was reading that for women, people have this idea that people in the spectrum are very closed up and they don't talk, but this is like the typical way male people in the spectrum are. We as women are taught to be really social, right?
Yes. First of all, you talked about the potential autism spectrum, which is interesting because I just did a
Yeah.
Wincast yesterday, or I like to call these Winnerviews, our interviews or something, or our conversations. Win with Diana. I did one yesterday with a young guy who I've known for several years, and he is diagnosed with autism. And he also described that he sees things like you were describing instead of, so what he was saying is that if he has like goals in his life or things that he wants to pursue, he just like sees them out in front of him. And then he sees, like, he had a word for the truth, like the real ugly truth or something like that. But when things encroach upon him reaching that place that he's looking to, he just like finds a way around them. He looks to find a way around it, but it's all visual. Thing that I think is just so important for winners to grasp here, which is, you talk about this is an inner journey, you know, all this COVID and you're stuck at home, it's an inner journey. I mean, that's an invitation. This time is an invitation to have an inner journey, and you're taking it.
I just wanted to ask myself what I really, really wanted to do, because I mean, you could see it both ways. Once this dream kind of crashed, it was sad for me, but then it was also an opportunity for me to do something new, to start over.
So when the dream of this American, the company, and you know, you may be back here with some other dream, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
So basically what you said was that, you know, this particular dream that you thought you wanted and you did and you pursued it, it crashed, but then it's like this or something better. You know what I mean? Like something better is coming for you, and you learn a lot about what you want, what you don't want. Anytime I think a dream ends is a time to reflect and say, okay, well, what is it that I really want? Like, you know, I'm thinking in terms of even Win Circle, and it's amazing how it's taking off. I mean, it just blows me away. But I've done a lot of things along the way that, you know, some had varying degrees of energy behind them. And I just think that, you know, I learned from each one. And so now Win Circle is built upon all those things that came before it. And, you know, we don't know yet where Win Circle is going to go, right? I mean, that's what's exciting. That's the amazing thing. And so it's having a certain amount of trust and patience. And so, you know, part of me, like, I would have launched a month or two ago, but then I was like, well, I want to do this launch well. I want to do it right for people. I want to make it interesting. I want to have something of substance when we launch and we say we're open, Win Circle's open. So, you know, we've invited people to join, like, you know, friends and family, like you, family, right? And then you can invite people, anyone you want to invite to join now, that's fine. But then then when we launch, there's something there. So, you know, I had to have patience. I have to have patience and trust and know that things are being created. There's an expression that Rome was not built in a day. Have you ever heard that? Rome was not built in a day, right? So our lives are not built in a day. So you don't know what stage you're going to be on. Like, I mean, a real stage or a metaphorical stage where you're going to go. But I think that's, you articulate things so beautifully. It's amazing to me. Where did you learn your English, by the way?
Okay. I was a swimmer before all these engineer thing. I was a competitive swimmer for a long time, and I was part of the Colombian team, so I had to travel a lot. And then I was picked by this team in the United States to be part of, and that was around 2000. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I was swimming in this team in Fort Lauderdale in South Florida. It was called the Swimming Hall of Fame. So I had to go there and swim, and I kind of crashed and learned with everybody. And then I actually had the opportunity to go to college to a university in South Florida, in Florida Atlantic University. Oh. But I only took one semester because I had this injury, like I couldn't even walk. So that's when I just retired my scholarship and went back here. And I don't know.
How did you overcome that when you couldn't even walk? I mean, that sounds frightening.
Well, it was only one leg, but it really
only one leg. I mean, how's that for optimism? I say, whatever, I couldn't walk. Well, it was only one leg. I had another one. I mean, it's just a great attitude.
Yeah, and now you can dance because I had like the other leg was I had this cast, you know, this really big cast. So I would just dance with one leg, but I don't know.
You're amazing. You have an indomitable spirit, and this is what I want to share with everybody. It's this get up and do it and go. And I mean, sometimes advertisements, there's wisdom in advertisements, like you were saying, that just do it. I mean, that's such a great advertisement.
But for me also, that was like my first real, like how you say that, the first time that I really was confronted by difficulty, because this was my dream. I wanted to go to the Olympics. I was super inspired by this swimmer that his name is Mark Spitz. He
Oh,
was like,
I remember Mark Spitz. Yes. I had a gym teacher who looked like him. He was
wow.
dreamy. Yeah, he was really
So
cute.
cool.
Isn't
I
he
was such a fan of Mark Spitz. Like I was obsessed with him, and I wanted to be an Olympian, and I was this close.
You had
So,
skills, you had everything. So
but
how did you
then
overcome that? I mean, that's quite a devastation to then how did you learn to overcome that?
I mean, I think it wasn't only something that happened to me, but it was the way that I handled that I had to reevaluate, because people in the team were saying you can stay. I mean, you can have an injury and we'll wait for you for one semester. Don't worry. But no, I was just like so overcome with stress that I said, no, I'm gonna lose my leg or something. And then I just decided to abruptly end my scholarship. So I think that was maybe a sign of the times. I was only 19 years old, so I was kind of young to be making those decisions.
Did you talk to your family about it?
Yeah, I mean, they wanted me to stay, but my mom was happy to have me close to her. But I mean, but when I went back, I didn't go back to my little town. I went to the capital.
it just I'm saying it's just like life is like that, and so you just have to get up and keep going because it's fun. An exciting adventure awaits you. And I think something else that you said or that I've seen in you is that, so I meet you in this engineering capacity, and you're working for this high tech, automation company, and you're here in the U.S. and you're an artist at the same time, right? And you're nurturing that part of you, and you don't know where that's going to lead. So, that could end up being like a huge part of your life at some time, right? You might start, people hired you to do their flowers. I want to buy another scarf. I mean, you gave me the first scarf was a gift, which.
Well, I don't know what's next for Floratica. What I think about it is that it's like an alter ego I have. So and that's something that I try to keep it as free as I can. So right now I'm kind of changing the way that it's going, because I started doing with the textiles. This is like the national flower of
Yes.
Colombia.
Oh, and happy Independence Day, Colombia.
Yeah, it's actually, I think in Google, when you go to the page, I don't know if in the United States, you can see this flower. It's the Cataleya.
Yeah, hold that up. Let's see it and give us a big smile.
And
Good. Hold that. I wanted to hold that because that's beautiful.
this is part of the project that you have, the scarves, and with this scarf it has a lot of storytelling, and we are speaking about some of the wars that we've had here, and we are speaking about the victims of the war, and this flower is the symbol of the victims.
The symbol of the,
It's
sorry,
called
it cut out. Can you repeat that? That flower is
of the war of the war. We've had a share of wars, internal wars here in Colombia. I mean, we have a lot of riches, but we also have like a really complicated story. So we've had a war for a long time. Right now, it's kind of, we signed a peace treaty, but then, I don't know. And people from the city don't really realize about the war, because it happens in the country, in the mountains, because it's this country with this really like sovereign nature. People can hide there, so that's where most of the things happen. But we signed a peace treaty, and with this scarf we wanted to symbolize, to remember the people that have been affected by that, and that now live here. And I work with a foundation, and we give 10% of the cost of the scarf to them.
Oh,
So we also
yeah,
them with money.
that's so beautiful. That's so
And
beautiful.
they develop all this. I drop it.
Oh, pick it up.
And they develop these cultural things. And one of the states that really got affected by the violence is the state that's called Chocó, which is mostly Afro people. I don't know how you say that, like Afro Americans,
Oh, so like
right?
Black people?
Yeah, and they have this culture that is really rich in Colombia. I don't know if you've heard about cumbia. Cumbia is a rhythm from music that was originated here because of the mix of Afro music and also Indian music and Spanish. So they promote a lot of cultural things around their heritage, and I've been like so happy to be meeting these beautiful ladies and people. And this is the second one. And in
Wow.
the second one, I
This is
wanted to
mine.
use,
That's mine.
yeah, yeah. I
Beautiful.
wanted to use this really red, like a powerful red color to symbolize femininity and strength, because a lot of the people in their community are women that are being leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to talk about women leading, and also this jellyfish. They
Yes.
are in the Pacific Ocean. You have them a lot there
Yes, in
in
the Pacific Ocean, we do have jellyfish. So
yeah.
each one has such meaning. And if you just looked at the scarf, you might not realize the purpose behind all of it. They're so deep and so rich.
Of growing, and I was going to tell you, but I kind of drifted away about the new path of Floratica, which is my alter ego. And I've been just really immersed in technology, but specifically in everything related data science and artificial intelligence. I don't know if I've told you, I've been studying for a while.
Mm.
Actually, before getting into this project for the United States venture, I had a scholarship from the government of Colombia. So I've been revisiting that, and I had this scholarship before COVID that it was about AI with art.
AI
So
with art. Oh, fantastic.
yeah, and we have these people from Europe, from Spain and from Germany, and other countries, and I didn't know that existed. So that's where I want to take now Floratica, because I've also been studying like crazy to become like this sort of data scientist that I want to be,
Yeah.
and then also take there my passion for flowers. I don't know.
But in honor of all of that, I'm just inviting winners to ask themselves, well, what would be fun right now? What would I like to do right now? Like, do you want to go and make cookies right now? And I know, we often we have this feeling that, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Like, I think what COVID has taught us is like a lot of the things that we thought we had to do, we didn't actually have to do. Like I found that personally, that all this activity that was happening, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, there will be no activity. You will not be driving anywhere. And then it was like, well, I don't really need to drive all those places. Maybe I don't need to do all of those things.
Choose all the shoes that you didn't need.
Right, all
All
the
the things
shoes.
that we have that we really need.
Right. Oh yes, I got rid of literally a third of my clothes. I gave away a third of my clothes. Yeah, it was kind of
I'm not there yet, but I think I'll be there soon.
yeah. Well, it's nice because then you see the other things. People are happy. Like I had all these shoes. Actually, it's funny that you said shoes, and it was like you don't need all those shoes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Well, of course, now I bought a couple more.
I don't know. It's just
And I do need
something that
more of your scarves though. That I definitely need. Scarves to me are like, that's like the most precious thing of all are
I'll
my
be
scarves.
launching some soon. I think around soon is like a month, but I don't know.
Well,
They
so
are
can you
already.
go to the post office or what can you do? And also I want to mail you a Win t-shirt if you want a Win t-shirt.
Wow, that'd be great. I mean, I don't know how the posting things are right now between countries, but
We'll figure it out.
yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But I think so. I do want to get you the t-shirt and then you don't have to wear it on the launch though. You can wear whatever you want.
I will wear it if I
Okay.
get
It's hard. I mean, I think that's the thing. You're 18 at heart with a whole lot more wisdom and a lot more experience. And I think that's something to remember too, is that, forever young. It's like, if people think, well, I'm 50 and so therefore I can't do this anymore. It's like, well, why not? I mean, what if you were 20 right now? Could you do it? Yes. If I were 20, I could. Okay. So like be 20 and go do, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what, it's just go for it. Forget about age or anything like that. I mean, none of us are dead yet. We're all alive. We got a long
Yeah,
way to
yeah.
go. So it's going for it. So here, I'm
So
going
I just wanted to tell you something about that before we finish. And it's that while I was in the journey, I realized that there were a lot of things that I didn't know. So I just decided to apply for a master's in a university.
Oh, for your MBA, master's.
No, for data science.
Okay. Yep.
This program is more focused on adaptive intelligence systems. It's like really, really take on the technical stuff. And I just decided to apply to this really hard to get program that around 500 people sent letters, and then around 20 get accepted.
And you got it.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
And I think there's people that are 13 years younger than me. So I'm going to be like the auntie.
Yes, well, you'll be a beautiful auntie. That's wonderful. That's amazing. You will have experience that you can share with them as their auntie.
I'll be the auntie, but I don't know. I think we're going to start the program through the web, you know, because it was supposed to start in November, but I don't know.
Well, then you can hang out in your hammock and study. That's had a hug. Okay, so, well, anything else you want to share with listeners or anything else you want to say?
That was fun. You are so spontaneous.
Exactly. Go for it. Do what you feel like. Love you, Diana. Thank you for this time. God bless you. Many blessings. We'll talk again soon.